So we were in Atlanta, myself and Cato, and it was awesome, dude. So cool to see all the fans that traveled. Ohio State, by the way, felt like to me, Cato, 60%, 65%. I mean, like that. It felt like a Buckeye takeover of sorts in Atlanta. And, it was so cool to be out there, so cool to meet so many of y'all, and so cool to cover the game. And the confetti drops, you see Ryan Day throw his headset into the stands, and that was so cool. But as the dust settles, it's hard for us to not ask this question. Can Ohio State run it back? I think that is very, very possible. And you look at what the FanDuel odds are to win the national title in 2025 right now. Yes, you can already go check those out. Ohio State currently has the best odds. Now, will that be the case in a couple of months? I don't know. But people are going to push back on that very quickly. And I hear where you're coming from and say, wait, JD, hey, listen, I get you got to make your money, Las Vegas, Nevada, and build some more skyscrapers by taking advantage of these folks that think Ohio State's going to run it back with all they lose. But again, they lose a lot, man. I'm not pushing back. They do. Lose your quarterback. You lose some weapons in the backfield, more than likely. Again, this is all per my assumption. Lose some key pieces on defense in a Jack Sawyer, Tuimoloau, Cody Simon. There's some massive pieces to lose now that made your season last year what it was. I think more importantly, the thing that would make me a little bit nervous from a Buckeye fan is like you lose some temperature-setting guys. Like Jack Sawyer is the emotional heartbeat of that whole operation. With him not being there, somebody else got to pick that up and be the new personality of that team and bring the new juice for that team. I'm not saying that won't happen, but I am saying Jack Sawyer's got some pretty massive shoes. I would probably guess dang, he might be in the teens, Cato. He might be like a teen size when it comes to his shoe size. That's a lot. That's a lot to replace. So I say that, and I feel that way, and I think that's accurate, but I also still can't help but look at what Ohio State has on this roster and look at what we've known to be true about Ohio State. Since Ryan Day's been there, even before he's been there, it's like, man, it's still Ohio State. It's still Ohio State. And this isn't just me giving love to the logo. No, I think the logo in itself is iconic in a lot of ways. I don't think that's a discussion. There's nothing but top 5 recruiting classes currently on the roster at Ohio State. You bring back 2 of the best players, I think the top 2 players in all of college football next year, and Jeremiah Smith and Caleb Downs. We'll see what happens with the coordinator position. That's always a discussion around, will the NFL try and take one of these guys, or will, I know there's smoke around Oklahoma and Jim Knowles at one point in time. As of right now, as we sit here live on the air with Chip Kelly and Jim Knowles, both being your coordinators offensively and defensively, I think that's the best coordinator combo in all of college football. So you have that. The quarterback position, yeah, you lose Will Howard, and that's going to be tough, but like Julian Sayin, so number 2 quarterback for us in this previous class, top 10 quarterback in the 2023 cycle, and Lincoln Keenholz. Like they got some options, okay? So they're not going to be wanting, I don't believe, at the quarterback position. And to be real, man, Ohio State, like talent, even when they weren't winning national championships, that was never the problem. Even last year, and everyone's dunking on Kyle McCord after the Michigan game, Kyle McCord just lit up college football and led the country in passing this year. So again, talent, was never a problem for Ohio State. So what was the problem? What was keeping them from winning those national championships? A lot of the time, you're pointing the finger at Ryan Day. For better or for worse, that was kind of where the college football public would look. Hey, Ryan Day, I don't know if he's the guy. He's not from Ohio. There's kind of this soft culture around Ohio State. And I'm not really even sitting here telling you that Ryan Day didn't have some acclimating to do. I think by nature of what he did this offseason by passing off play calling duties, he feels like he had to acclimate and change. But y'all, they did change. They did reach the mountaintop. He is the guy. They did win the national championship. All those things are true now. And so we said this post-game, and I want to say it again. Sometimes it just takes doing it once to kind of get the hang of things. And that's way overly simplistic when it talks about, or when it comes to talking about winning the national championship more than once. But like Ryan Day, for the longest time, we're saying, man, he just can't win the big one. He can't get over the hump. They can't this, they can't that. And then he wins a national title his 6th year ever being a head coach in the sport of college football. It's often forgotten now because of all the success that he's had. But, y'all, this was the same discussion a lot of people had around Kirby Smart for a minute. Hey, Kirby, I don't know. Can he beat Saban? I don't know if he's the guy at Georgia to get him to the mountaintop. Like, yeah, had some success in the regular season, but is he really the guy? And then he wins the national championship in his 6th year. And then in his 7th year was another national championship. Say, yeah, well, JD, they had Stetson Bennett kind of evolve and all that. They brought back a lot on offense. That's true, but, y'all, the offense wasn't really the calling card for that first national title team. For Georgia, that is. Go back and check the numbers. Georgia, going into that second national title run, was 96th in returning production. I don't know where Ohio State's going to fall, but I have a hard time believing they'll be a whole lot lower than 96. So the point I'm trying to make here is if it's not about talent, and it truly is about Ryan Day, I think he's reached that point where he knows what it looks like, he knows what it feels like, he knows what national title caliber football is, and not just from a conceptual level. Like Ohio State winning the whole darn thing this year should remove any doubt about Ryan Day, should remove any doubt about the culture they have internally at Ohio State, and should remove any doubt around if Ryan Day can do it again. Because, y'all, you do it once. I'm not saying you have this monster roster every single year and the pieces come together the way they did, but if it's not about talent, and it shouldn't be about talent, Ohio State will be in the mix every single year. Get them in the dance, have them get hot, and then you could have a result like you had this year. So, can Ohio State win the national championship next year? I get that they're betting favorite. We're not making a prediction right now, but could they do it? 110%. 110% they could do it, man. And I'll be very curious to see who wins that battle out of camp. Like, Julian Sayin, there was a lot of buzz around Julian Sayin even in spring of last year, saying, hey, Julian Sayin might be the guy that actually ends up taking over for a Will Howard if he doesn't really dial it in and if he has some interception problems. Now, the year went how it went, but they're excited about Julian Sayin in Columbus. We'll see if he's the starter.